The first official Democratic debate happened and had more respect than Aretha Franklin's biggest hit. But there is one thing it didn't have: any questions at all about the Trans-Pacific Partnership. Welcome to ACT TV. I'm Julianna Forlano. Anderson Cooper hosted the first Democratic debate, and even though he asked some tough questions, not even one candidate suggested he was having his period. How civilized. The candidates intelligently discussed climate, poverty, criminal justice, and healthcare. But they did not discuss the one issue that could undermine any progressive victories in those areas: the trade-zaster in the making, known as the TPP.
The Trans-Pacific Partnership. It would be the largest trade deal in history, involving countries stretching from Chile to Japan. Big corporations and Wall Street get an international tribunal of private attorneys outside any nation's legal system that can order compensation for any lost profits found to result from a nation's regulations. In other words, it's a Trojan horse in a global race to the bottom, giving big corporations and Wall Street banks a way to eliminate laws and regulations that get in the way of their profits.
The TPP would cause major human trafficking and is despised by unions, workers, environmentalists, and anyone with a basic sense of human decency. It's like Chris Christie, but somehow just a tiny bit more likable. Most voters don't know anything about it, even though it will affect every level of human existence, from the air we breathe, to the medicine we need, to the internet, where we get our cat videos. And that is because it is being negotiated in secret, and most corporate news outlets won't touch it with a 10-foot lobbyist. Hillary Clinton voiced her opposition to the TPP during the debate.
I did say when I was Secretary of State 3 years ago that I hoped it would be the gold standard. It was just finally negotiated last week, and in looking at it, it didn't meet my standard.
That's after being asked directly about her stance on the trade deal by Anderson Cooper in this question.
Do you change your political identity based on who you're talking to?
Wow, Anderson. Meow. 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 That wasn't about the trade deal. No, in fact, no questions about the TPP were asked at the Democratic debate. Meanwhile, at the Republican debates, discussion of the TPP did not have catfights. It was more just crickets. To be fair, these Republicans want to take power away from the federal government, and if the TPP passes, we won't really have a federal government. We'll have a corporate one. Actually, I'd be shocked if any of these corporate shills says anything at all about trade, much less go against their free trade puppet masters.
There is a North American free trade agreement.
And there shouldn't be. It's a disaster.
It's called free
No, it's
trade,
not.
and
It's not
it is
free.
a plank of the Republican platform.
Scott, we need fair trade. We need fair trade. It's got to be fair.
I was not expecting that. But I was expecting this.
If you look at the history of trade agreements, Chris, what you find, they are written by Wall Street, they are written by corporate America, they're written by the drug companies, have been, in my view, a disaster for the American worker. Now, the president differs, and he will tell you why he differs. On this issue, I think he is wrong.
Bernie Sanders has been against this monstrous trade agreement from the get-go, and the American people are too.
TPP spells corporate greed. TPP spells corporate greed.
Hey, ho ho, why this doesn't make the news, I'll never know. Go here to urge your representatives to vote no on the Trans-Pacific Partnership. America must reserve the right to determine our own consumer, health, safety, labor, privacy, and environmental regulations. I can't believe we even have to do this, but let your congressperson know that you'd rather not surrender our rights as a nation to transnational corporations, and that any trade policy affecting our sovereignty needs to be negotiated out in the open. You're watching ACT TV. I'm Julianna Forlano. Thanks for watching. Thanks for taking action. If you're enjoying our series and you want to be sure not to miss an episode, like our Facebook page or subscribe to our channel on YouTube, ACT TV. Do more than watch. At the end of the day, the TPP is a huge, terrible disaster that most candidates try to avoid like crazy, and no one really knows what's in it. Much like Donald Trump's hair.